another banner day here in the shop. We just committed to buy 40 motorcycles in Southern California for $150,000. So we're gonna be going out there on Saturday and checking out the bikes. Gonna schedule the freight, hopefully get them back around this time next week. It is currently Tuesday, 6 p.m. Gonna shoot a quick video, POV drive on the M2. We're just about to finish braking. Not exactly pushing her to its limits just yet, but we got the full active auto work exhaust, mad catless downpipes. This has the dual mid pipe, the equal length from active auto work, and the rear section. And I have to say, this car is violently loud, which you'll see in a moment. We got the valves open. So we got the DJI Osmo 4 on the helmet cam here, and I hope the quality's all right in the low light situation here. In 4K 25 with a nice and low shutter speed, so it should be all right for low light. The DJI Osmo 4 is a bigger sensor than the Gopro, so hopefully some better low light capability, a little bit better dynamic range. Have it in the wide mode and on this kind of head mounted setup. This thing just absolutely barks. The active auto work mid pipe brings that just straight 6.0 sound back in. That is just intoxicating. Sound is crazy. Dude, I haven't taken this thing beyond 4,500 RPM, and it just, man, it's just, it has so much torque down low. Like, this car is crazy. I'm trying to find, it just wants to break loose. The tires are starting to warm up now. It's only 28 degrees outside. It's really cold today. It's so much car, you can never find its limits on the street. It's just so much car. Wow. Baby it, but I can't wait to do some launches with this thing. Show you guys how to bang some gears. In sport mode, I've talked about this every single video I've put out. I've talked about how sharp the steering feels, but the car is just freaking just on rails. And after crawling underneath it, installing the active auto work system, it's crazy. It's like all the bracing underneath, and it's all, you know, made out of machined aluminum and cross braces underneath, and all the suspension components and control arms are like super thick, beefy steel or aluminum. It's just a freaking really totally overbuilt the car. And so is in the driveline. These S58 cars, without intake or exhaust, just port injection, ethanol, and a tune, of course unlocking the ECU. Crazy numbers. So there's a lot of power to be had. And unlike the F-Series cars, you don't have to spend $30,000 modifying the driveline to prep for that kind of power. So this is like new age shit, and the platform's extremely future-proof. Oh my God, dude, just rolling on it. The tire just breaking loose. This thing is just so gnarly, such a gnarly car. And this is bone stock. It's got an exhaust on it, but you're not making any gains because it's not tuned. It's kind of a waste to drive a car like this and not take it out on the track, something this capable. It's like taking a CR500 around like the pit bike track at Rocky Hill, or like we're riding around the kids track here, and we want to go to, you know, Laguna Seca, throw down some sickening lap times. That's what this car is built for. Alright, well, we got to get this video over 10 minutes long, and the M2 needs some braking miles, so figured I'd blab on for a few minutes here about some concerns. And if you're not an economist, or maybe you haven't been keeping a pulse on it, maybe you've had your head in the sand, well, in November, we had the third largest increase in consumer credit card debt since we started keeping track. So, and this is at a time where credit card interest rates are at record highs, right? So inflation isn't just an increase in the money supply, but also the expansion of credit. So consumer credit just surpassed $5 trillion. All the while, the Federal Reserve in 2023 was adding $1 trillion to the national debt per quarter for debt service, and these frivolous spending programs aren't adding to GDP. So we're in a manufacturing depression. We have monster trade deficits. It's just incredible the dollar is showing any strength at all, at least in relation to other currencies, because that's all that we can, well, measure it by. All the while, in 2023, the Federal Reserve has been artificially raising interest rates and tightening to control consumer prices. So we had double-digit year-over-year consumer price increases after all the I can't say the word, but in the 2020, that thing that happened, well, after that, they printed trillions of dollars out of thin air in the form of PPP loans and ERC credits for businesses and all the COVID stimulus, just all this crazy spending, and interest rates dropped to zero. So you had all this liquidity in the market, and everything was so propped up. There was an everything bubble. But I think what people are seeing now is that rates have risen, but prices haven't come back down. In fact, they're continuing to trend up. And yes, things have slowed down because of rates, but now it's an election year. The Federal Reserve is not, they're supposed to act independently of government, okay? But that's not how it works. This is the United States of America. The system is all tweaked up. There's so much that we don't know about. It's an election year, so the Fed is getting pressure from the parties in office, right, to lower interest rates, artificially stimulate the economy, prop up the housing market, and avoid the economic catastrophe that we have coming, okay? This is going to come at massive increases to the money supply, and it's going to be a runaway train. This is going to be a Zimbabwe event, and we can't really call a timeline. I'm not an economics professor. I didn't study this in school, but if you have a pulse on this, you'll know, just looking at the stats, this is a really scary situation that we're in. But we're not going to have the crash that people are forecasting. You're not going to see real estate soften out. You know, rates are going to drop. At least 3 rate cuts are planned for 2024, and the Federal Reserve is going back to QE to prop everything up in preparation for the election cycle in 2024. So I think you may see stuff softening out now a little bit, slightly, with interest rates where they're at, but there is still healthy demand, and people are still spending like it's going out of style. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out in the next 2 years here. Inflation operates with a lag. I still don't think that we're fully feeling the effects of all the money printed in 2020 and 2021, and the party's not over. Federal Reserve's going right back to QE, and you're going to see in the next 10 years is going to be a very, very interesting time. I don't think that we're going to get the crash that everyone's been waiting for and talking about. Asset prices rise at just rapid rates as you see all this liquidity come in and all this new money making its way into the hands of consumers, and the prices of goods, motorcycles and vehicles, asset prices, and then equities are just going to get bid up to the moon. And it'll be interesting to see how the dollar holds up, and if we end up losing the world reserve currency status in the next decade. But that's all way over my head, kind of just along for the ride. What do I know? Stay tuned, fellas. Gonna keep thrashing the M2 on camera and keep you guys in the loop with some good content. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, helps your boy out. Gotta pay for all these extravagances, hopefully with a little YouTube revenue. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned. God bless America.